Lion's Sight. Services for the blind and visually impaired. Graphic of a lion's head in black and white on a gray background. Okay, picking up with the Oakmont materials, we got another one of these. Let's see which one this is. They give you a lot of rubber bands. Got a lot of rubber bands. Woo! Rubber bands for days. So many rubber bands. What do we got here? Oh, this is interesting. Oh, this is very different. Oh, wow. Up or down? Okay, let me get this over here. Up or down? Zipper. And it's stitched in there. Look at that. That is phenomenal. Up or down. And this rotates. See the little thing? It rotates. You can make it up. You can make it down. Phenomenal. Love it. Okay, here's another one. Up or down. You can slide it. Very good. Very, very good. Very clever. This is whew, up or down. Man, these people work really hard to make this stuff. Wow. Yeah, man. Okay, so that was 5.4.10, and it was a set of objects. Let's go back to our little chart. 5.4.10 is going to be up or down. Yeah, that's just all four of these are up or down. Okay, very clever. Okay, wide or narrow? 5.39. Okay, let's get on with it. 5.39. Wide or narrow? Very good. Comparing the two. This is wide compared to this. Okay. This is narrow. Now this is clever because you could say that this is narrow compared to this, but they flip the orientation. It's very interesting that they flip the orientation, and then these two are made out of a similar fabric, right? And these are made out of a similar material. These aren't fabric, these are foam. That's very, very interesting. Again, everything's brailled. That's to be assumed. Now, which is wider? And they use, for the vertical orientation, the same foam. And then they say, which is narrowest? Okay, this is a cool texture. It's got like a wood texture. This is great. I bet these people just go to a fabric store and they buy all the wallpaper they want and they just chop it up. Phenomenal. That's a little loose. I can glue that down with a teeny tab of glue and that'll work perfectly fine. Still phenomenal build quality. Ooh, the sandpaper. That'll give you some synesthesia. And that's very clever that it's diagonal now. Very good, very good, very good, very good. 5.39, wide or narrow? Awesome, phenomenal. More or less? Okay, this is 5.43. More, less, okay. More or less? The birds, I like the birds. More. Which is less. Phenomenal. They have you group them and then they are similar shapes. So even if you go from left to right, you will tell by tactile discrimination that these two are similar. They got the hole in the center and these are obviously very similar because they're all square shapes, diamond shapes, however you want to call it. So you can tell by tactile discrimination. Very clever. Which is more, this is phenomenal. Which is less, this is phenomenal. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Very simple to the point. It's exactly what it's got to be for establishing concept development. Small objectives that are achieved concretely with the intent of addressing that one topic with one material. And it's better to have multiples of these books, even though they may seem redundant or repetitive, because you're looking for a spread of materials to achieve concept development. Straight edges. This is interesting. Straight edges. So it's diamonds, or not, excuse me, not diamonds, triangles. But see, the way I see it is a diamond shape because I'm looking at the gap. So this is like half of a diamond right here, you know, this angle. And so like you're getting triangles, but if you feel around it, you're feeling almost like a half diamond shape. And you can figure out that it's a star and that the star is then made up of triangles. You can explain it to them like that. Like the crescent moon, that's very clever. Fish, yep, you can kind of tell that's a fish. It's got the little mouth, the lower fin, tail, perfect. Straight edge, perfect. Curved edges, straight edges. Yeah, which has which, right? Straight edge versus curved. The dolphin, phenomenal. They cut these out very nicely. Right. So again, this has straight edges, but it's complex straight edges. It's compound shapes. Polygons is really what it is. And it's great that they use polygons for this because they're introducing other forms of complexity. Right, which is curved edges. You got the little Twitter bird kind of, and then you got the diamond again. You got a butterfly. Again, polygon versus triangle, monogon. Wonderful. Phenomenal concept development. Simple idea, but it's very interesting. You have a concept you have to develop, and then it's like, how do we compile the concept into its simplest form? I used to have a guitar teacher, Chris Lee, who used to say the hardest thing to do is to write a pop song because everybody, you know, talks trash about pop songs, but it's really hard to write one because it's very simple, it's very concrete, and it gets right to the point. So I love these materials for exactly that. There's more sophistication to this than you think. Among, right? So now you're getting into a concept development where you're thinking of gross total groups, many items, and even though they are different, they are among. You got the nice braille, and this is contracted braille. You get the ONG contraction at the end. That's very interesting. We've got between, right? So this is a tree, this is a pumpkin, this is a tree. Very clever. Among, again. But you could also ask them, you know, what is the moon between? And they would say stars. Eventually you could say around. The stars are around the moon. So you can expand upon these concepts, but you can use the book to introduce the concept. And then if you're clever, you can figure out how to build off of this. Between or among. This is brilliant. Oh, this is a whale. Took me a second. Yeah, that's a whale. It's a gray whale, and those are fishies. Among or between. This is among. It kind of covered the braille right there, but that's okay. It's very well made. It's still very well made. There'll probably be a few little hiccups here and there in these books. They're all handmade by people who volunteer their time. And I'm not just being generous to them. How many of these have we gone through? And there's how many more in the box? Like, what is this, man? It's like Christmas in the middle of March. Okay, this is interesting. Off, right? So the head of the flower is not connected to the stem. Okay, on. Very good. Very good. When I think of off on, I think of a light switch. Instead, they simplified that concept. On. Very good. Ice cream cone. Off. No ice cream on the cone. You dropped your ice cream. Oh no. Yep. Bow ties. Very clever. Very, very clever. And then lampshade. Oh, that's a cool one. Off on lampshade. Very clever. And that relates to a light. A light turns on and off. That's another. See, these are really great because you can build off of the concept they established. All right. I feel really lucky to have this. Thank you, Oakmont. You guys are awesome. All right, we got it right. There's nothing on the left. And we've got a nice little divider line. It's clever. Now we get to the left side, and you got the same divider line. Very clever. And this one's begging the question, left or right. Same thing. Perfect. And then the interesting thing is if the kid is, you know, wondering, you know, well, there's this thing over here, there's this thing I feel, and you're like, well, that's the divider line. And then you make them go to the next page, and the divider line is consistent. So there's like, right there, there's a bit of object permanence, as if the divider line is consistent across all pages, right? That's valuable. It's not just on one side of the page and no divider line, the divider line is there. You could almost use that to almost sort of introduce the early concept of fractions. Yeah, ratios even. That's brilliant. See you in the next clip. Lion's Sight. Regular updates on blind and visually impaired tutorials will be available for all kinds of topics. Thanks for watching.